and welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. Apologies for the delay. Had a really, really shit day. Not going to beat around the bush with you. It's been absolutely shit. And then just when I was about to go live, it all went wrong as well. So it's been class. It's been a really good Sunday, but we'll try and forget about that and crack on. See you all waiting. So shout out every single one of you. Loads to talk about in the transfer world as usual for Newcastle United. Let's see what you are saying in the chat. Like I say, people say no video. Life happens. Unfortunately, life happens and life can be really shit and unfair. And that was the case today for me. So that's why it was delayed from the usual live at 5 to now live at 5:34. And yeah, been a nightmare. Like I say, I know people are in the comments, but cut us some slack, guys. It is a tough life and things happening now. So yeah, it doesn't have the same ring to it. I wish I could have been live at 5, mate. Trust us, but these things happen. Life happens, unfortunately. But yeah, obviously the main thing is the Kvaratskhelia. That is the main talking point, and I'm sure everyone's waiting for. Massive news in terms of the apparent bid. You know what I mean? The apparent bid that's meant to be 90 million euros. That's wrong, but StreamYard is always wrong, so it should say euros, not pounds. But for some reason, it doesn't. So that was another thing that's went well. So 90 million. For Kvaratskhelia is the big link in the past day or so. Struggle to believe that one, to be fair. Struggle to believe that one, to be honest with you. Kvaratskhelia would be an amazing signing, perfect signing. Be unreal, to be fair. It'd be an absolute dream signing, really would. But we are not going to pay that much money for someone. And even the 90 million isn't enough, according to Napoli. 90 million, that's been rumoured that we would bid for Kvaratskhelia. Napoli say come back with a serious offer. They're saying that it's not good enough. So if they're not going to accept 90 million, which I doubt we would bid in the first place, then they're talking about wanting like 130, 140 million. Do you know what I mean? That's just absolutely bonkers. 130, 140 million for one player. That's why Victor Osimhen hasn't moved this summer. Do you know what I mean? That's why Osimhen hasn't moved yet. People were rumoured with him, Man United were thinking with the idea of spending 100 million on Osimhen. They want 140 for him. They want 100 million plus for Kvaratskhelia. And reports that Newcastle could be willing to bid up to 90 million euros for him. But honestly, as much as I would love to see it, I'd be very surprised. Now, would I rule it out completely? Probably not, because we spent 63 million on Isak last summer. So you'd stretch that. Well, you'd still have to stretch it by about 20 million, actually. So it's a bit of a stretch. But, if you could battle that out for a little bit more, if we sold someone, could you... Who else we're going to get, though? What was evident yesterday at Gateshead was the squad depth. That was so evident for me. Yesterday at Gateshead, we've seen we had about 7 left-backs on the pitch. It is the first pre-season of the friendly. Obviously, we've had internationals coming back, like Wilson, Gordon, the Brazilian boys, and obviously Tonali wasn't ready yet either. But it shows that with a couple of players missing like those, then we're kind of knackered. I mean, you had St. Maximin playing as a striker yesterday. Ali Anderson playing as a forward. He was like, I've never played there in my life. But he still cracked on with it. And he did well, to be fair. Anderson looked decent, against Gateshead. And he really linked up well with Maxi in that second half. But I know the owners have said, it's not going to be a rebuild this summer. It's going to be more of a, we're going to continue along the lines of strengthening in areas that we need to. It's not going to be an overhaul of 7-8 players out and 7-8 players in. It's going to hopefully be at least 3-4 players in. Obviously, one through the door already in Sandro Tonali, but nobody out yet. And we've got Hendrick there, Hayden's still there, Ryan Fraser's still here. You know what I mean? There's loads of deadwoods still here. Jamal Lewis started yesterday. He was lifting. He was absolutely awful against Gateshead. And yeah, I mean, the bloke hasn't played for a while and whatnot, and he's low on confidence, and he was a bit out of position. But we're in the Champions League now. Do you know what I mean? We need to be signing good few quality players. And as much as I would love to sign Kvaratskhelia, I cannot see we're spending the rest of our money on that. I mean, if we could get him for maybe 70, maybe 80 at a push, but if you're talking they want 100 million plus, there's no way in hell we are capable of doing that right now. It would absolutely destroy us for the next few transfer windows, trying to bid that much for one player. Because his wages as well, that's why we're not signing certain players. Madison stretched it out and he got an extra 50 grand a week at Spurs. Like, we're not messing about. We can't give in to high wages and high transfer fees. And I'd be very surprised. Like I say, Newcastle did break the transfer record. It probably would be for someone like Kvaratskhelia because he is there now, ready, and he will be class for years. He's got the best years ahead of him still. He has Champions League experience. It's a position that we should definitely strengthen, if you ask me, on that wide flank. So it would be ideal. It would be amazing. But when they line up Harvey Barnes for 35 mil and we've spent 55 mil on Tonali, I can't say we spend that much money on one player. I can't, as much as I would love it, and I've been crying out for Kvaratskhelia. I said, it would be amazing to sign this summer, and he's a dream signing, and I think dream is where it stays for the time being. I think it's just not realistic yet. In 2 years' time, yes, we will be spending 100 million plus on the likes of a Kvaratskhelia. No doubt about it. We'd be in for Harry Kane, we'd be in for an Osimhen if it was 2 years down the line, or if these owners that had took over us in a good financial situation in terms of FFP, big sponsorship deals, things like that. But at the minute, we're on Ross and we've made no player sales. I see people saying, how come Aston Villa are spending money? How come Aston Villa are splashing the cash? But they made 100 million net profit on Jack Grealish. He was an academy product and they sold him for 100 million pounds. And they just got that straight up. So, they could spend that. We need a short shift in these players. That's why will we sell St. Maximin? That's running along the bottom of your screen now as well. St. Maximin in the last day or so has been linked again with a move to Saudi Arabia. I think it's Al Hilal. Who was it? Al Hilal, one of them ones. I mean, these Saudi teams, there's that many of them at the minute signing players. I forgot who's who. It is Al Ali. Al Ali. According to TalkSport a few hours ago, was saying that Al Ali have had talks with Alan St. Maximin. Now, that's according to TalkSport. Talks between Alan St. Maximin's advisors and Al Ali are at an early stage. So Saudi Arabia are trying to swoosh in for St. Maximin, who obviously started yesterday for Newcastle. And Eddie Howe was asked about him after the game, and he said, "Listen, I want Alan to stay. I'm a big fan of his. We've seen what he can do, especially in his favourite position on the left-hand side when he played there in the second half. He was a lot better. I know Maxi thinks he can be a striker, but he's not. He's not. You got to get him on the wing. Got to use his pace, and that's where he belongs. And I'm the same. I'm not too fussed about Alan St. Maximin. About we could sell him to generate funds. Yes, that makes sense. But for me, at the same time, I'd love to see Maxi in the Champions League. I think it would really suit him playing on that European stage, and he is still a threat. But for me, when you look at Harvey Barnes and you compare him, and we've compared his numbers before on this channel, Barnes is way better in terms of productivity. And at the end of the day, that's what you need. You need goals and assists, and Barnes gives that, and Maxi doesn't give it enough. So I would still be surprised if Alan St. Maximin is a Newcastle player at the end of this transfer window. But for me, I could see him going. I mean, I'd be buzzing if Saudi Arabia came in and gave a 40 million for him and got him off the wage bill like they're doing with Chelsea and that. You know what I mean? Absolutely buzzing with that. But we'll wait and see. I mean, would Maxi want to play in Saudi Arabia? Obviously, you're offering them funds, but he's always one of these ones where he said himself, he wants to win the Ballon d'Or. He wants to play in Europe. So we'll see on Maxi. It could go either way. We could easily cash in for him and sign Barnes, or we could keep a hold of him and use him as a very good squad player next year in the Champions League. But will he be happy playing in the Champions League, being off the bench? You know what I mean? Obviously, he wants to play in the Champions League, but will he be happy off the bench? I don't think so. He wasn't happy last season. He wanted to be a starter, and he will not start for Newcastle. Do you know what I mean? He will not be starting. We know that. We know Eddie Howe's not going to start him. Doesn't trust him to get back in that. But we'll see. Kyle Cena's just been on Sky Sports about Kvaratskhelia. Let's have a look at that then. Let's have a look if it is. But if it's on Sky Sports, that's a bit better. But in terms of that, I'd be very surprised if they're saying that we would put the money up front for him, considering what the club have been saying. But 82 million bid for Napoli's Kvaratskhelia lodged. Newcastle have made a bid of 82 million for him, according to Dello Sport. So Sky are now reporting on that. 82 million pounds, so like 90 million euros for Kvaratskhelia. That's not Sky directly, so it's not Keith Downey or Pete Graves or anyone coming out and saying it, but it is the Italian outlet Dello Sport. So that would be sensational if it was true, but again, it's a long shot. But I tell you what, you never know with these owners, do you? But you just know that it would hit us FFP hard, but I would absolutely love it if we went out and splashed the cash on one player like this when you've had all these journalists saying we're going to spend 75 million and we're going to spend 82 on one player. But the problem is that Napoli won't even accept that 82. Napoli have said that come back with a serious offer, want 100 plus. So, Joe Linton's doing my fucking head in the chat. See you later, son. But no, that's shite in there. See you later. Not the day for me to be coming out with shit crack, mate. Sorry, bye-bye. Let's see what it's. Thanks to Jabba for the super chat. Much appreciated. Going to win the league this season and pop it. I like it. Let us know what odds you get on that one. Good stuff. Going for a Leicester City job. That'd be sensational if we win the league. I think someone said to me the other day they were going to win the league. And they put a bet on Newcastle to win the league and it was like 16-1 or something. So, fair play. Fair play if we go for that one. I think 16-1 is shan odds though. We should be getting a lot more than that. What we're saying, 16-1. Ian says 16-1. Let's go back to the top of the comments before we talk about the other things on the bottom of your screen. Let us know what you think about that bid, apparent bid for Kvaratskhelia and the Alan St. Maximin stuff. It'd be absolutely insane if we get Kvaratskhelia. What a player. What else we got? Buongiorno, everyone. Hello, everyone. I think it's because everyone was used to it being at 5 o'clock every week that people didn't see that it updated at 5:30, so that was really good. Cheers, everyone, for the nice messages there, though. But I am married. I'm married. Just one of those days where shit happens. But anyways, you just didn't want to listen to me whinging. Want to talk about the old transfer rumours, and there's plenty of them. I'm at Rangers. I am, mate, indeed. Buzzing for Rangers. Like, actually really looking forward to it now, just to get away and enjoy that day at Rangers. Atmosphere should be bouncing. Obviously, Glasgow will be bouncing. 8,000 Geordies taking over. So, looking forward to that one. And I'm sure on Tuesday, they've said that the main boys, the big guns, will be travelling to Ibrox. And then they're actually going to travel straight to America from Scotland, the Newcastle players and management coach and team. A lot of them, they're all off to the States. Wish I was, but unfortunately not. But Rangers on Tuesday night, yes, I'm there, mate. So have a look out. Loads of videos coming your way for that one. And it will be absolutely unreal. And will we see Tonali maybe off the bench? At least we'll see a few of them back, like. All right, Matty, bit of a wild one. Would you take Ekitike on loan? Ooh. That is an interesting one, like. I would say no, just out of spite. I'm just being spiteful. I'm in that sort of mood now. I would just be like, he didn't want to be here last year, so he's not coming now that he's not getting played at PSG. You know what I mean? Now that it's went wrong for him in Paris, he chose Paris over Newcastle, and now that he wants to come crawling back, no, you're not allowed to come crawling back, Hugo. See you later, son. You know what I mean? There's bound to be talent there, and to be fair, it would really suit us. It would be a bit of an ideal signing, to be fair, wouldn't it? That versatility along the forward line, young, pacey, energetic, did get goals, didn't work out at PSG, but it would be good for us, especially on loan, because then you could have the funds to spend elsewhere. So Ekitike, yeah, I would if it wasn't for me just being spiteful over him choosing. But however, I suppose he did get. Last year we weren't in the Champions League. He didn't fancy the relegation battle in January. Look at how well that worked out for Bruno and Trips and that. You know what I mean? They had faith in the project and it's worked out well. So Ekitike should have. But at the same time, he's French. He had the chance to go to PSG. Actually, I'll go back on my word. I'll say yes, I would take Ekitike because we need strength and depth. And I would like to see him. He's a talent, so why not? I'd rather get someone else like Kvaratskhelia or Chiesa. Or even Diaby. I see a lot of people talking about Diaby in the chat. Why aren't we going for Moussa Diaby? Obviously, he looks like he's going to head Aston Villa. 35, 40 million bid rejected. They reckon they can get him for just a little bit more than that. 40, 50 million will definitely get Moussa Diaby, maybe even a little bit less. And, he's been long targeted by Newcastle. He's been long linked for a very long time, especially by the old Twitter fans wanting Diaby. But, you know, I just don't think he's ever been that high up on Eddie Howe's list. He was a bit like Paqueta, where he's very high up on Newcastle fans' lists, and rightly so. But I don't think Eddie Howe's ever really wanted him that much. You know, I don't think Eddie Howe's trusted him in that style of play that much. It's a reason why Alan St. Maximin doesn't get picked. It's the defensive capabilities, the track and back, the teamwork. Yes, it's annoying because for me, brilliant. Let's someone else do that and let Diaby take on 7 people and score a worldie. Great. And when you see him do that for Villa on Match of the Day, we're going to be kicking ourselves. But Diaby, he's one of them ones where it's not a priority in terms of Eddie Howe. And it is surprising because right-hand side is definitely what we want, and we want a winger that can cut in and score goals. But there's obviously a question mark over Diaby, whether that be his defensive attributes, whether that be his characteristics, all those sort of things. But for one reason or the other, Newcastle, so far have decided not to enter that race for Mr. Diaby, because let's be honest, if we came in, he would come to us. He would. We're Champions League. Villa are doing very well. That's why I think they got Conference League, but they're definitely a club on the right path as well with Emery and the signings that they're making. But he would choose Newcastle over Villa. Definitely. Once that Premier League switch, he would come straight into the Champions League. And on paper, it looks very, very sexy. That's why Newcastle fans want it to happen. Because you've got the midfield of Tonali, Bruno, and then you've got a forward line of Isaacs and Diaby. That's scary good. It really is. And obviously our defence is sorted anyways. Well, maybe a left back. But, with Botman at the back and Trippier and that, and Pope and goal, it's very exciting. So I can see why people want Diaby, but next time I see Eddie Howe, I'll ask him why. I should have asked Tyndall yesterday. If you haven't seen the Matchday vlog, have a look at that. At the Gateshead game, I met Jason Tyndall again, met, who else did I meet? Well, Graham Jones was on the vlog, just said hello to him. And then I was talking to Dan Ashworth as well very quickly before everyone swarmed over. And he had to go, but yeah, he wasn't in the video now, but I spoke to Dan yesterday as well. And he looked tired because he's busy, so that's a good sign. And I should have asked him. I should have said, Dan, what's the crack? Why no Diaby? And he probably would have thought, fuck off, mate, he never talked to us again. Like I've just done that to Joe Linton in the chat. You know what I mean? These things happen. So we need a left back first. Again, thanks to Jabba for that super chat from before. We need to get Barnes before West Ham get him. This is a nice segue by KC because it came out before that Harvey Barnes, Newcastle want to get the deal done and they might have to step up their efforts because West Ham are lurking. Now that West Ham, they've got a cool £105 million to spend after selling Declan Rice to Arsenal. They're targeting some players to obviously bring in balls to the squad, and Harvey Barnes is one of them. Now West Ham are looking at getting the ball rolling with Harvey Barnes. They're looking to start talks with Leicester. 35 million will not be a problem with them. Like I said, they've just got a nice hefty sum to splash. And what we're looking at is they're obviously after they've been linked with McTominay, another Newcastle target previously. I don't think we'll get him now. Or then maybe if that would allow Bruno and Tonali to really do business going forward, but I doubt that's the case now. So yeah, I think McTominay would be a good replacement for Rice, by the way, especially at West Ham's level. I think that would be perfect for them. So they're after Barnes as well, though. So they want some forward lines there, and Harvey Barnes is the one that they're looking at. So the player prefers a move to Newcastle, obviously, even though it's a London club. London club, no. Champions League, baby. He wants the Champions League. He wants to come to the tune, Harvey Barnes. But Newcastle are still kind of stalling on it a bit. They're still lingering over your 30-32 when Leicester want 35-40. And it's one of them ones like Madison last summer where it's just like getting impatient. Do you know what I mean? I can understand it. And for me, I think we'll definitely try and get Harvey Barnes done before the USA trip. So he's going to have to join by himself now, though, unless it gets wrapped up in the next couple of days because the lads are flying out midweek from Scotland to USA. But I know Eddie Howe would love him to be a part of that USA tour and be playing in the Premier League Summer Series. Harvey Barnes for Newcastle, gelling with his new teammates there. That would be the ideal scenario. So can we not just get moving and get him through the door? Well, yes, if we stop trying to haggle a bit, or I don't know. But, Howe said yesterday, post-match after the Gateshead game, that, they're going to have to get creative with the way they spend money. So does that mean trying to wear out Leicester's patience in making the deal happen? Can we just try and be like, Leicester, this is all you're going to get, take or leave it, and then West Ham come in and be like, we'll pay it. So we don't want that to happen. But West Ham are now rivaling us for Harvey Barnes, so we need to get a move on. Tierney, Kane, Barnes, Mahrez. Oh, I'd love a bit of Mahrez. Like, even though he's him on the right-hand side, I was going to say, even though he's over 30 now, isn't he, Mahrez? But I tell you what, he's still definitely doing a job. He's always class when he comes on for Man City. Champions League, FA Cups, always scores winning goals. So Mahrez on the right would be lovely. I actually heard last year that in the January window we looked at Mahrez, but City wouldn't let us have him. But I'm not sure what the deal is with that now. And obviously Mahrez has been linked with a big money move to Saudi Arabia as well. So he'll probably get on with that. He'll probably get on with it. Do you think we change kit manufacturers? Yeah, definitely do. I mean, we know that Adidas representatives were at St. James's Park last season watching the Newcastle team on a couple of occasions. We can't buy out Castore, though. They're just not having it. Castore don't want to go as much as fans want them out because of dodgy manufacturing and whatnot. And yeah, but Castore, I think they've still got 2 years left to run on this deal, and they're not going anywhere. They know that they've hit a gold mine with getting Newcastle for that cheap. When they took Newcastle on when we were on the verge of being a championship team. Now we're in the Champions League, and there Castore is going to be, that's the wrong, because of that, I did it again. Castore are going to be all over the billboards next year in the Champions League, all over, TV across the globe with Newcastle United being in the Champions League, and they will be laughing that they're getting all that advertisement for such a cheap deal. So obviously they're not going to give it up. Down Eels have been working hard to try and get them out, but they're not going yet. So we'll see. But I believe in 2 years' time, when the deal ends, we'll see Adidas or a Nike come back in. But for now, it will be Castore. Love the Castore kits, but they're loads of Adidas. So. I really like the Castore kits, to be fair. I know obviously some of the delivery issues and the quality issues have been there, but I've got to say, from my point of view, I've always thought they were decent for me. I've never been waiting for a delivery, so if you're not living in Newcastle, it might be difficult. But for me, the design of the kits, I think, are very nice. I think this season's home kit is the nicest home kit for as long as I can remember. And I thought last year's white and green Saudi kit was really, really nice. This one, the training top thing, is lush. I think they're doing a cracking job, but they've got to work on a few things. But I suppose they are a newish company, but it's that nostalgia in it, and you can never beat the 3 stripes down the sleeves for Newcastle fans. Or I've been a fan of a Nike tick, you know what I mean? Mix it up, get a bit of swoosh on there. What we're saying? What else we're saying? Can see one more signing coming in and ASM staying. Even one more signing wouldn't be enough, no way. John says, well, chat disappeared for a second there. StreamYard went so downhill. I'd rather go for Chiesa and Barnes than 90 million for one winger. And I think the club would as well. If in terms of if you're going to be strict and you're going to be tight with the budget, I think the club would rather think, listen, we can get two for one. For a fact we're in advanced talks with Harvey Barnes for 35 million. That's going to take our spending close to 80 million this summer. Or we're then going to spend 100 million on another player and then still need a left back and still look at midfielders like Calvin Phillips on loan and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. Catching up with all your chats here. Keep them coming in. People are saying, what about doing the Kvaratskhelia deal over add-ons? Well, that's what we would definitely be looking at anyways, and we would be looking at spreading the cost to get around FFP. You know what I mean? Chelsea style. Just give Kvaratskhelia a nice little 8-year contract. 8-year deal, and spread the payments across. If you can do that, little loopholes, but we'll see. You're a legend, mate. Can you not sign for the tune? I could, to be fair. I probably could sign for the tune. Do you know what I mean? Yesterday they could have done with me. Little strike out top. You know what I mean? Maxi was playing down the middle. Should have chucked me on. Maxi on the left. And I would have just been a little goal poacher. proper goal poacher back in my day. I was like a Van Nistelrooy. You should just hang around the 6-yard box and tap them in. Cheers for all the nice messages, well, the kind messages about, just me being in a shite mood, really, because it was being a tough day. I might absolute highlight of this week, the show last few weeks. Cheers, that mate. Really appreciate it. Love to the Cardiff Mags. I need to get myself to Cardiff, to be fair. I've never been to Cardiff. I'll tell you what was a nice moment today for Cardiff, actually, was Aaron Ramsey and his son signing for Cardiff City at the same time. That was a nice little clip on Sky Sports News this morning. Really nice moment, that. And if Cardiff came back up, or if we ever got a chance to play them, I'd definitely get myself our. Sorry, Dave, it was that. Hopefully this has been the only time where it will be a late start, 5:30. And I think, we'll try and stick the old live at 5, but sometimes it's not possible. Heard Matty can play left back, get him in the first 11. I'll tell you what, Aaron, we had enough left backs yesterday. We had 7 on the pitch. It's funny, isn't it, that we're actually trying to sign a left back and we've got that many left backs. Like, what the hell? We had like loads of left backs on the pitch yesterday. And we're still trying to sign left back. That shows what you need to know, really, doesn't it? That they're not bloody good enough, the ones we've got. Will we sign a left back as well? That's not on the screen at the bottom. Let's just quickly touch on that, I suppose. And, long-term links are still there with Kieran Tierney and Cucurella, and who was that other lad that we're linked with? The left back now? Can't remember. There's been that many. But it's still centre-backs that we're getting linked with. Joachim Andersen from Crystal Palace was linked over the weekend. Mark Douglas, the local journalist, was saying that Joachim Andersen was Newcastle's centre-back priority. But I think Palace realised Newcastle came in and we're going to try and charge a fortune. But no, Aaron, back to the question, or more of a statement. Not a left-back, mate, striker. But I tell you what, I'll do a job anyway if they need it. I would have done a job for Gateshead yesterday if I had to. Bounces, you're right there. Like, I remember we went to this festival in Glasgow, me, Keg, Taylor, and that, back in the good old days, and went and seen like Eminem, Chance the Rapper, a few different people, and you're right, like they really didn't like us, like they really didn't like us. Like every time we tried to get in anywhere, they were just rejecting us, and there was absolutely no reason. There was only about 6 of them, and the bouncers were just not having it. So hopefully they're a bit more welcoming next Tuesday, but probably not. But we'll see. But in Glasgow, and tell you what, it was bad at the time when we went, like the knife crime and that. I remember the bars that we did manage to get into, what we did, we would like split up the groups. So like 3 would go in and the other 3 would go in like a couple of minutes later. That's how we got in. But then I remember a few of the bars in Glasgow you'd go into, and at the time, I don't know if it was just at the time because there was a peak in knife crime or something, but we were getting like searched when you were just trying to get in the bar for a pint. It was lifting like. So hopefully Glasgow was better on Tuesday, but at least the Ibrox will hopefully be just as good. 77, isn't that the number he plays for his country and for Napoli? 77, let him have 77. Now Bruno likes the 39. Let Kvaratskhelia have the 77. Yeah, it really is. The plan was to get 2 or 3 in the door before USA. Obviously, we've got 1 in. But yeah, he is under pressure because everyone in an ideal world will want players in the sooner the better so they can gel with the players before, the season starts, before the competitive action comes in. But we'll wait and see. But he will be under pressure. High stakes in high positions. Just like Eddie Howe, everyone's under pressure. Honestly, reckon the Kvaratskhelia bid is a smokescreen for another signing. Very good point. Very good point, that actually. And I would definitely believe you. You're right with the comparisons to Barella and Tonali. Yeah, I could see that. You could see this whole thing about the press going mental for Newcastle bidding 80 million. And then before you know it, it comes out with £50 million in talks with some right winger. I didn't want to say Diaby. I didn't want to say someone we've already been linked with. So maybe it would just pop out of the blue because everyone was talking, Barella and this, that, and the other. And then not one single person mentioned Sandro Tonali. Not one. Not Sky, not BBC, not The Athletic, not any newspaper outlet. And then he was there. You know what I mean? It was, he's agreed terms type of thing. And it was, obviously it did end up going on for a week or so and getting over the line. But we knew all was looking well. The whole, it was obviously him at the under 21 Euros and whatnot. But yeah, mate, you're right. It could definitely be a smoke screen. What else we're saying? Bonds doesn't track back either, according to Leicester fan Jack. Morris wants to leave Man City. Go get him for that right wing. What's your top for next year? Don't know what that means. Yeah, people, if you haven't already, please give this video a big thumbs up. Stressful, crap day, but I still turn up for you lot. Do you know what I mean? No days off. So please do give her a like, give her a subscribe if you haven't already. Al Nassr have bid for DRBC's John. Interesting if you would choose Premier League and competitive football or a big, massive paycheck. Any update on Chiesa? No, nothing on Chiesa, Paul. We've held talks with his representatives, and he's also in talks with one or two other Premier League clubs. He's not keen on a move to Villa, though. He said he didn't want to move to Villa, but he would move to Newcastle, and he would like to link up with his fellow Italian Tonali, who, by the way, Tonali, having a nice day out on Whitley Bay today with his partner. Nice little update for you there on Tonali's whereabouts in Tonali Watch. And Chiesa, nothing of yet. Apparently, we did talk to his agents this week. We haven't been in discussions, but haven't heard anything else since, to be honest. I think with Chiesa, it's more of an opportunistic signing. Obviously, we do want someone on that right-hand side, but would Chiesa be right up there? Because of his fitness concerns, really, in terms of he had such a long layoff. I mean, a year or so ago, class, bang them in for Italy, everything else. But let's be honest, he is still a top player, and if you can get him for 40 mil, definitely worth it, definitely worth it. I think Disasi will be the next one in. So this is a nice little segue onto one of the headlines on the bottom of your screen, which is that we are still having concrete talks with Axel Disasi from Monaco, the young French centre-back. This was breaking news on last Sunday's Transfer Talk live show, and we are still in talks with him. So that is still at an early stage as well. But there has been initial discussions with Disasi about joining Newcastle, which would be a class signing. Now you look into him and it would be, you fit the mould, young, real good height on him, comfortable with the ball at the back, one of the best ball-playing centre-backs across the top 5 leagues in Europe, really. So Disasi would be a great signing. And that's what I mean when you look around and you think, right, we're going to sign Disasi, we're going to sign a left-back, we're going to sign Harvey Barnes. Disasi will be with 40 million, So Barnes is 35. We've already spent 50 odd on Tonali. As much as I'd love it, and you think, great, we can do it, we've got rich owners, all we hear from the club is FFP, and it is very true. So that's what makes me wonder what we're going to do, really. I said all along, I was never one of these that said we'd only be spending 75 mil. I said I reckon we'll spend 150 mil and we'd bring in 4 or 5 players. I think we'll spend 120 to 150 million and we'll bring in 5 players. That might include selling an Alan St. Maximin. It might include selling a Jamal Lascelles and a bloody Jamal Lewis, hopefully. But, we'll wait and see. But Disasi, you're right, it very much could be the next one, Jackie, because talks are definitely going on with Monaco for him. So we could see how it is. Where has all the Kvaratskhelia links came from? I did a video months ago on Kvaratskhelia, so it was ahead of the curve, as they like to say. But it came out from Dello Sport, the Italian journalists, the Italian press, Dello Sport, that newspaper. They've came out with it today, and now Sky have actually reposted it and stuff. So 82 million bid, 90 million euros for Kvaratskhelia, and that still wouldn't be enough, apparently. Broja was linked last year, wasn't he? I think Pochettino wants to work with Armando Broja because he obviously needs a centre forward. He's obviously had a bit of a layoff as well with injury. I would have loved Broja last year. Right now, yeah, I still would take him. It just depends on what the deal would be. But I don't think Chelsea would let him go loosely, especially now to a top 4 rival. I don't think we'll be seeing that last year either, did we? Question, Matty, which position do you think we need the most? Right-sided attached? No, I guess that's going to be a attacker, maybe right-sided attacker, left-sided attacker, left-back. I would say right-sided attacker. Honestly, if I was to choose, I would say right-sided attacker. Because left side, you could keep Maxi, you could play Gordon there, even though now he wants to do this false 9 thing. We've played Isaac there, we've played Julian, there's options down that left. On the right, it's Murphy or Almiron. You know what I mean? It's Murphy or Almiron, and let's be honest, Champions League, games coming thick and fast. 2 a week for a while. Right side for me would be the target. And again, left back, I think, as Matty Target, can he come back in the fold? Byrne did a brilliant job last year. But if you want that out-and-out left back, you want that solid left back, that would still be in addition as well. So even though the closest signing we're going to make at the minute, if I had to bet who was next to the door, I would say Harvey Barnes. That would be the least prioritised position for me, that left-hand side. I would prefer a right winger. I would prefer... Well, that and left back's probably equal, to be fair, because we've seen Byrne did great last year. Will he get caught out, though? Probably now in the Champions League. In Target, we love Target. He did a great job, but for some reason, just doesn't get much game time under Eddie Howe. Kvaratskhelia at Newcastle would be the sign of the season. It would. Imagine how devastated everyone would be if we signed Kvaratskhelia. Everyone would be absolutely devastated. They'd be, it's not fair. So how will Newcastle spend all this money? I thought it was FFP. I would love it to happen just for that reason. The absolute sight of football Twitter would be amazing. You'd have your Chelsea fans, your Spurs fans, your Liverpool fans, an absolute meltdown. I would love to say him. And that being, he's just an unbelievable player. And what I like about Kvaratskhelia is that he would open up the fan base to a different part of the world as well, for where he's from and everything else around that. And, he would bring a lot more eyes on us, Kvaratskhelia, because he's literally been linked with Real Madrid. Do you know what I mean? He's one of Napoli's biggest stars, and he was one of the Champions League's best players last year. So if we got him, everyone would be like, whoa. Imagine a summer window of signing Tonali and Kvaratskhelia. They could have made the move to anywhere in the world. Two of the best young players on the planet. So if we could get them, it would be unreal. But as Gary, who was a member, says, and thanks for being a member, Gary, be unreal, but can't see it happening. Just a step too far, I think, especially given the FFP constraints. And that echoes my thoughts exactly, at the start of the video when I was saying that, really. I just think Kvaratskhelia in 18 months to 2 years is definitely the signing Newcastle United will be making. But right now, it's difficult with FFP. Firmino on loan, says Lawrence. He's not going to come back to the Prem. He wouldn't ruin that Liverpool legacy by coming back. He's that ship has sailed and he's happy to chill out now, I think. What else we got? Just waiting for StreamYard to catch up with the chat. Also, I hope we're looking at free agents like Kamada. Kamada on a free would be spot on. Ordered my new home shit 3 weeks ago. Still waiting. That is shocking. That is shocking, mate. You may as well just get yourself to. You may as well just get yourselves over to bloody Sports Direct or something. It doesn't matter anymore. He's not here. There's no point in waiting. If you somewhere where you've got a JD Sports or something, just get yourself there. Honestly, that's a joke. 3 weeks for the top. You think with Arsenal spending 200 million on 3 players? Well, yeah, you would. But the thing is, the rate and the valuing them too highly. I mean, the valuing them at 30, 40 million. Newcastle are saying, look, we'll give you 20, 25, but 30. So again, it's a waiting game, isn't it? But because I think Newcastle are having to be quite stringent, and everyone's just thinking, Newcastle got all the money, we'll charge them what they want, but we can't pay it at the minute. But people don't seem to do that. Anyways. What else was saying? Do you think Maxi is actually going to leave for Saudi? I was saying earlier about that, so just have a look back at that, actually. Have a look back from that. Me pointing, repeating myself. You're a good lad, Matty. You always watch your videos, yeah, from Churchill. From Churchill School, I like it. That's where I went. Good old Churchill. St. Maximin to Serie A says odds, Chelsea fan. Georgian lad would be a class signing. KK as well. Kevin Keegan. You know what I mean? We like the KK initials. We do like the KK initials. Kevin Keegan. Well, this would be absolutely delightful if we could do that. If we could sell them for fucking 1 million, I'd take it. Not Maxi. Lewis and Hendrick, though. Feel like we're saying Chiesa for some reason. Well, the Italian mafia is coming over. Bring them in. Bring them in. I'm all over it. I would have Chiesa on that right-hand side. Shout out Charlie Talks Football. And his dad that I saw yesterday at the match, I was laughing actually because Charlie's dad was like, "Oh, do you know how you say buongiorno at the start of your videos? You got some Italian blood in you, like." that was class. I like that. Like, no, I haven't. Just say it for absolutely no reason. So it probably would make more sense if it did have Italian bloods in it. Cheers this one, Adam. Make sure everyone else is also liking the video. Shout out Jobber for becoming a member. Something I'm really going to work on in the upcoming months is merchandise and members. So I want to really start rewarding the members a lot more for showing your support of the channel. I'm going to do this by doing, giveaways and meet and greets, and we've got big things lined up, Q&A events with guests and stuff, and give you some merch and private live streams and stuff like that where it's just the members. So yeah, lots of plans for next season. Maybe do a video on revealing what the plans are since the season's only starting. But yeah, there's loads going on. There's loads for me to sort out. It's very busy, but we'll get there and we'll get things up and running. What else was saying? Lewis and Lascelles will raise about a fiver. Well, this is the problem, man, isn't it? This is our problem with FFP. Like, how can we shift to Deadwood? At least we'll get them off the wage bill as a start. But like, what could you get for Jamal Lewis? We paid 15 million for him. We're not going to get anywhere near that. You'd be looking at about 5 million now for Lewis, wouldn't you? Just because he's got age and international experience on his side, you'd probably be able to get 5 mil. Could you chuck him on loan and then has a good loan spell and he gets some suitors? Could Luton Town take him on loan, or could Middlesbrough take him on loan? And then if he does well, could they be like, right, well, if he has a good loan spell, we'll sign him for 10 million. Could we try and sort out an arrangement like that? That would be good. And Jamal Lascelles, he's constantly linked with this move back to Nottingham Forest. Lascelles, in terms of squad depth, especially for the Champions League, wouldn't be bad, but it means if we sell Lascelles, can we then get Disasi in and fund towards that? Then yeah, let's do that instead, obviously. But Eddie Howe's a big fan of Lascelles, of his leadership skills, what he brings to the dressing room. But if you could get 10 million for Lascelles, which is probably what he's worth, I suppose, you'd take it, wouldn't you? You'd take it this time. What the hell? Newcastle will sign Maguire? No chance we're signing Maguire. There's no way are we signing Harry Maguire. Not a chance. Apparently West Ham will link with them. So they're wasting that Declan Rice cash. I tell you what, actually, Maguire would probably be good for West Ham. I think he'd be alright in a team like West Ham. I mean, he's really good for Leicester. So if you're playing that formation, it'd probably be good for him. And Ward-Prowse, I'm surprised he's been so quiet this summer. Southampton relegated. Nobody's going in for Ward-Prowse. You'd think like a Tottenham or a West Ham. Could West Ham replace Rice with Ward-Prowse? That would be a good move for them both. I would take Ward-Prowse, but just not at the money that Southampton are offering him. And I guess that's why nobody else has moved in on Ward-Prowse. They're wanting 50 million for him. English tax has gone through the roof. No updates yet. David on Livermento. I did a video on Thursday when I left the golf course in Scotland about Livermento. £21 million bid still on the table for Livermento. Southampton still don't want to accept that. They want more money. Livermento wants the move. He's very keen on a move to Tyneside, although he does still want some assurances over playing time. So that could be a bit of a sticking point unless we are going to predominantly switch flanks and play him on left instead of right. He has played at left back before, but he is normally a right back. But yeah, Livermento deals still ongoing. Bid has been made. Southampton, we're just waiting for them to hopefully lower their asking prices. What else was I saying? Since we're talking about the big money moves for the likes of Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, let's talk about realism now, I suppose. And Guns and Blazing's asking there, for me, Harvey Barnes, that's a realistic one. That's an easy one to get done. 35 million, not much this day and age. He wants the move. Eddie Howe wants him. Realistically, bring him in. Left back, Kieran Tierney, realistically, bring him in. He wants first team football. Arsenal want the money. Can we just stop this whole back and forward and just pay it, or can Arsenal drop it a little bit? We'll see. So realistically, Tierney, Barnes, and then who else can we get? You know, do you look at a forward? We know people are mentioning like Tiki on loan. Do you look at Calvin Phillips, a midfielder on loan? Or do you get a Chiesa on the right and have an absolutely naughty front three of Barnes, Isak, and Chiesa? I don't know, mate, but realistically, definitely I would bring in Barnes and Tierney because I think that's realistically. Dreamy, Kvaratskhelia, and Theo Hernandez. DRB right hand side, ESM left. I mean, the two French wizards like that would be scary as well. DRB and Maxi on both wings, full of pace and energy, skills and trickery. And DRB more so end product than Alan St. Maximin would be lovely. Someone just mentioned Hernandez there would be sensational. Thing is with the right back, no quality in the market. Yeah, it's true. Like Southern Geordie there about right wings. Is there that many on offer? Well, the reason they're going for Harvey Barnes is because it's on the table. Do you know what I mean? It's an accessible one now that Leicester have got relegated. Leicester want the cash and the player wants to move. It's an easy one to make, and it's one of them ones where it's popped up and it's ideal. And like you're saying, right wing, harder to come by. Although you got Diaby going to Villa, like you said, there must be something. Like I said earlier on the stream, there's obviously a reason that we're not gone in for Diaby. You think we could still get Gallagher on loan? Yeah, I do. I wouldn't really want him that much. I'm not that fussed about Conor Gallagher, to be honest with you. But if it's on loan, then yeah, I suppose we could do it because it's not going to hit us FFP wise, and it would add squad depth. But I think there's a lot more important positions to get than a Conor Gallagher, especially after signing Tonali. Napoli are difficult to deal with. They really are. Yeah, Napoli are very hard to negotiate with. To work my way down all these comments now. Give Napoli and St. Maximin as part exchange in cash. Good idea. Zaha still on a free. I think he's waiting a big paycheck from Saudi by the looks of it. Can't understand why Championship clubs haven't came in for the likes of Lascelles and Hayden. I mean, either, to be fair, especially because the Championship season starts a week before, doesn't it? So you'd think people would be trying to get involved. I mean, Hayden obviously was at Norwich last year. Loan spell for him there. I can't lie. I don't watch Norwich City, so did he not do well? Did they not want to sign him permanently? Probably not, by the looks of it. Lascelles could even do a job at I was going to say Burnley, but could Vincent Kompany turn him into a beast? You know what I mean? Like, you've got Luton coming up this year. You've got Sheffield United. Could you do a job at Sheffield United? Surely Lascelles, like I said before, constantly linked with a return to Nottingham Forest. So we'll see. Ian's asking how do you become a member. I'm sure it just comes up as like join, where you can subscribe or join underneath the video title. It should just be on there somewhere, mate. Or if it's on the YouTube homepage, it'll be on there. Or even easier, actually, in the video description, there'll be a link to join to become a member. In the video description, there's a link to join, which makes it easier actually than having to look for it on any of those pages. Well, this is what I did this on the channel in years gone by. Actually, the old FIFA games, and people used to like them because I used to go mental. I used to have some serious FIFA rage. And that was funny, to be fair. But obviously, this year, the first year without it, EAFC, whatever it's called. Let us know if enough people want us to bring back the FIFA stuff. Then I will do it. I always buy the FIFA and then I play it about twice and then never play it. So I don't know. Maybe we do it, maybe not. What else we got? Catching up with all these comments. Well said, John. I can't see the likes as it is like, but people need to be sorting it out and liking this one if you haven't already. Takes 2 seconds. It's free. Do you know what I mean? Makes things worthwhile. I think I may have actually caught up to the comments now. I have. So, 51 minutes on the clock. We'll maybe round this up to an hour. So, get your questions in for the last 5-10 minutes of the show. And we'll round things up there for this week's Transfer Talk live show. Now, obviously, normally it is live at 5 every week. This week had to be delayed a little bit. But hopefully next week we'll be live at 5. And then obviously every day throughout next week we'll be doing videos, the old usual news updates, transfer updates. So stay tuned for them. And then Tuesday, there'll be plenty of videos from the old trip to Ibrox. I'll be there. Glasgow away on Tuesday night. Buzzing for that one. So there'll be loads of good content coming your way from that. I enjoyed it yesterday, to be fair. It was good being back there for the match day vlog. Even in the pissing down rain, we managed to have a good time, me and Keg, and everyone else did. You've seen the videos of the lads spilling his beer at half time, dancing in the rain. The weather was absolutely lifting, but the comeback was good. At least we came back, at least we won the game. And looking forward to more of the same on Tuesday, not the weather, the game. And like I said, Tuesday we should be seeing the big guns in action. We should be seeing the Wilsons, the Brunos, the Joelintons, and maybe even the Tonali. What you're saying then the last 5-10 minutes. So brilliant show, pal. Thanks, mate. Good show, mate. Loved it. Cheers, Chris. What else we got? Have you ever seen a Macna Milan? Says Geordie. No, I have not. Shout out 10 item. Just during the show. Oh, mate, it'll be a wild 24 to 48 hours if these Kvaratskhelia rumours are true. Like, if there's any substance to them and there's any movement on Kvaratskhelia signing, it's going to be insane. And I'm all here for it. Do you know what I mean? It'll be amazing. Absolutely amazing. What else we've got? Kane now odds on to go to the Bayern. I seen what the Bayern president was saying today. Like, and he was saying, well, Kane's told me he's coming. The Bayern Munich president was saying, I've had guarantees. Harry Kane wants to come. He said he's coming. So let's wait and see on that one. I hope he does, like, because it makes sense for him. Get a little Bundesliga, get a trophy under you. Good chance of going for the Champions League as well with the squad they're assembling. And then, keep Shearer's record nice and safe until Isak breaks it. Proper dry my. Right then, what else have we got? Will you be in City Centre this week so I can get an autograph and a picture, mate? I don't know, mate. I'll be at Rangers if you're in Rangers. But I'll also be at the Selhurst Cup games, 5th and 6th of August. We'll be there. And then, if not, then obviously the Villa game the week after. So if you're out and about then, mate. But I'll be in the City Centre. If Kvaratskhelia coming or anyone goes to St. James's Park, I'll be there. So keep an eye out for that. Still remember you going mad at Mutu missing a sit out on the old FIFA videos. Nice one. That is a good memory. I'll try to erase that from my memory, to be honest. NFC TV charging $7.99 for the Rangers match, but free for the American. I think the American series is on Sky Sports, isn't it? I'm sure the American games are getting shown on Sky Sports. I was going to do watch-alongs for them, but I think the time difference is an absolute madness. I think the time difference is like midnight, something like that, for a couple of the games, if I'm right. So I don't know. We'll see what the feel of it's like. I mean, do I stay up for midnight? There's enough people watching. And they're during the week, so people are probably going to be at work. I don't know. We'll figure it out next week when we're a week or so away from it. But $7.99. Did they say that was going to charity though? The money they made from it or not? Can't remember. But is what it is, mate. The demand's there. Do you know what I mean? They sold out 8,000 tickets for Rangers. We took up a full stand. Do you know what I mean? Crazy, man. Crazy. So people will easily pay $7.99 to watch it. For sure. Tonali. Asensio would be a good right wing. He would. I will link with him in January, won't we? Cheap one. Don't think we need another whole midfielder, Miley and Anderson. I'll tell you what, Miley looked good yesterday. Like, I really like Lewis Miley. He's way too young at the minute to be starting Premier League games, I reckon. But Lewis Miley, I'm excited for his future, young talent. And then Elliot Anderson was class yesterday, man. Like, the second half, probably should have had another goal or so, but he's linked up with Alan St. Maximin. They were looking really good, looked really bright, and I'm buzzing for Elliot as well. Jordi Fran from Argentina. Shout out Argentina. I would love to get over to South America, one of the only continents I haven't been lucky enough to visit yet, but definitely get out there one day. What else we got? Last few comments then before we round up today's Transfer Talk Live. Nah, we mentioned the Shiraz record. Holland's not going to be at City long enough, man. He's already said he wants to leave in like 3 years. He said when he first signed for City, he said just to let you know, I'm not going to be here forever. He said, he wants to test himself in all the leagues, so he's linked to go, Real Madrid's and whatnot in a few years' time. So, to be fair, how long does he need? Like, the way he goes on, scoring that many goals, he might not need that long, but hopefully he does take off in a few years and leaves before he does it. Otherwise, if he keeps on going the way he does, it won't take him long. Cheers, Craig. Nice one. That was good. Gated yesterday as well. You know what I like about the Gator game, these preseason games, like the access is a lot better. Even though shame that the team bus went straight through the gates, but you're close out of things. You feel a bit involved more. It's very much more relaxed atmosphere than your big Premier League stadiums. And it was good meeting loads of yous yesterday as well at the Gator game. It was a good day for the weather. I didn't mean to stall that. I'm trying to show it. What's this? What's your views on Ronaldinho and Roberto Carlos of the tune? Well, I would have loved it about 25 years ago, mate. Not so much now. I'll tell you what, Roberto Carlos at left back. I'd still do a job in the Champions League group stages, I reckon. I'd get him on free kicks. But Ronaldinho, what a boy. This is a good one to round things off with. Do you think Newcastle United will win a trophy within 2 seasons? It's a big question. It's a bold question. And I'm going to go for a big, bold answer. Way I we will. Yes, I do think we will. Next season might be too soon with Champions League. But I think once we can really start spending more money through FFP and whatnot, we will win. 2 years isn't much, is it? But yeah, I'll go with it. I'm going to go with it. I think we will. FA Cup 2025. Just about 2 years then. Yeah, 2025 FA Cup winners. And we can clip this and I'll see how I predicted the future in 2025 and we'll go back to 2023 July and Newcastle win the trophy. There we go. FA Cup winners 2025. Let's have it. Right then. Cheers everyone for watching this Transfer Talk Live. It was good to get on and get there eventually. Sorry about the delay and all this, you know what I mean? But we got there in the end. It was a good show, good interaction with you lot. And stay tuned. Like I said, we'll be probably back tomorrow with a transfer update on something. Hopefully, Khvicha's coming in. We're just going to go mental and spend loads of money. If not, Tuesday, loads of videos for the Rangers away game. I'll be there at Ibrox, so buzzing for that one. And then the rest of the week, we will be giving you all the Newcastle United updates, news, transfer rumours, all that sort of stuff. So stay tuned. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for watching, everyone. See you later. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Take it easy.